Yona wondered why Theo had returned so soon. Theo explained that his task was swiftly resolved, leaving him with nothing more to do. Yona reassured him that she was genuinely happy he was back, sharing that she had mastered creating a spiral bomb with both hands while he was away. Theo expressed relief upon hearing this good news. Yona, emanating a powerful aura, suggested trying out her skills on Theo to test his strength. Theo, feeling apprehensive, subtly avoided the suggestion, contemplating the possibility of another mission on the horizon. He expressed concern about the potential of an impending war. 1 year later, Theo reflected on a recent encounter, admitting that he had struggled to block Yona's formidable skills. Impressed by her abilities, he acknowledged that her skills were indeed intimidating. Yona modestly accepted Theo's praise. Theo continued, expressing his amazement at Yona's incredible mastery of the spiral bomb technique, but hinted at some room for improvement in her inner binding seal technique. Jace hurriedly ran towards Theo, visibly agitated. Without delay, he expressed his frustration, indicating a sense of urgency. Sensing the tension, Theo inquired about the cause of Jace's distress. Jace, with a tone of alarm, revealed the imminent danger as the Dauntless sect members began attacking Iron Sphere sect disciples without restraint. Understanding the severity of the situation, Jace emphasized the need to escape promptly to avoid any harm. Yona, puzzled by the unfolding events, remarked that the Dauntless sect and the Iron Sphere sect were supposed to be allies. Confused by this unexpected development, she questioned the reason behind the Dauntless sect's sudden aggression. Jace, equally perplexed, admitted his lack of understanding of the situation, unable to provide an explanation. He recounted encountering over 6 Law of Spirit energy masters on his way to them, heightening the urgency of the situation. Jace emphasized the need for immediate dispersal and escape to ensure their survival. Theo pondered the situation, doubting that Jace was lying to annul their contract. He questioned the motive behind the Dauntless sect's unexpected actions, finding the situation perplexing. Theo handed an antidote pill to Jace, who expressed his gratitude for the assistance. Jace offered to show his familiarity with Mount Jumwa and invited Theo to accompany him. However, Theo politely declined the offer, indicating that he was content where he was. Understanding Theo's decision, Jace prepared to depart, bidding farewell as he set off on his journey. Yona suggested going to see her father, indicating that the situation seemed serious and not just idle talk. Theo agreed with her proposal, recognizing her concern for her father's well-being. Yona and Theo arrived at Elder Max's location, where he inquired about the situation. Yona explained that while it wasn't confirmed yet, there were reports of the Dauntless sect advancing. Elder Max expressed surprise at the mention of the Dauntless sect, questioning the accuracy of the information. Observing Yona's serious expression, he acknowledged the gravity of the situation, indicating that he believed her words were not unfounded. Max expressed disbelief, stating that it was unlikely for the Dauntless sect to be involved in such actions. He suggested dealing with the body once the situation was resolved and advised avoiding any confrontation for the time being. Concerned about the ruthless killing they witnessed, Max anticipated that the Dauntless sect might be aiming to seize the teleportation portal. He recommended descending the mountain through the forest of fine beauty to evade any potential threats. Jude urgently advised immediate escape, emphasizing the need to flee. Yona, already aware of the Dauntless sect's impending arrival, expressed confusion about the unfolding events. Jude revealed that the Dauntless sect had betrayed them, intending to create a nation solely for the Dauntless Association rather than for all evil sections. He explained that the cooperation between justice and evil sects stemmed from the presence of a breath of the Sun Alchemist within the Dauntless Association. Surprised by this revelation, Yona inquired further about the breath of the Sun Alchemist. Theo expressed frustration, realizing that the alchemist had likely attained the breath of the sun status around a decade ago. He speculated that the alchemist might have coerced the sects by threatening their families to ensure compliance with their orders. Theo deduced that the evil sect's sudden increase in power was likely orchestrated by this alchemist, with a sinister plan to eliminate them post the conflict with the justice sects. Jude agreed, echoing Theo's sentiments about the treachery of these individuals. Theo speculated that the breath of the Sun Alchemist must currently be present in their vicinity. Jude, feeling disheartened, recounted how his father and some elders had been in a discussion with an elder from the Dauntless sect when chaos ensued. Witnessing the rapid loss of lives, Jude found himself separated from his father, eventually arriving at their current location. Theo realized the danger of staying in their current location, especially with the presence of a breath of the sun alchemist. Feeling a sense of helplessness towards uncontrollable circumstances, Theo decided it was best to avoid getting entangled in such perilous situations. Taking comfort in the fact that the group's capabilities were not lacking, Theo believed they could successfully escape Mount Jumwa with their combined strengths. Max concurred, suggesting they descend and utilize motion dharma tools for their getaway. Arriving at the entrance of the Forest of Fine Beauty, Theo realized that they had fallen into a trap, surrounded by numerous enemies instead of just a few. Anxiously, he understood that being pursued at a rapid pace meant that while he could potentially evade capture alone, if they remained together, all 4 of them would likely be caught by the 6 individuals chasing them. Theo assessed the situation in his mind, acknowledging that Yona's capabilities were uncertain, but feeling certain that both Lord Max and Jude would not be of much assistance in this dire circumstance. Reflecting on the situation, Theo likened their predicament to a past experience at the Mountain of 5 Gates, realizing that escaping alone would be the most strategic choice. However, despite the rationality of fleeing solo, he hesitated due to the bond he had developed with Yona during their time together. Though acknowledging Yona's strength, he noted her lack of a proper Dharma tool and some deficiencies in certain arts, which could potentially hinder their escape. Yona voiced her concern about not having a motion Dharma tool, to which Theo responded by offering her a solution, suggesting that she could ride together with him. Theo affirmed his determination not to fall victim to the law of spirit energy alchemists pursuing them, underscoring his commitment to ensuring their safety as they made their escape. In a sudden attack, Max was knocked down, prompting Yona to swiftly retaliate against the assailant. Despite the enemy's attempt to shield themselves with a barrier, Yona's attack pierced through the defense, shattering it. Surprised by Yona's prowess, the man expressed disbelief, noting that he had presumed she was still at the heavenly birth level. Recognizing the threat Yona posed, he urged his comrades to focus on eliminating her first. Max urgently advised Yona to dodge the attack swiftly. As the sword was aimed towards her, Theo intervened just in time, using his Dharma tools to defend against the strike. Impressed by their hidden abilities, the man realized that both Theo and Yona were not ordinary individuals. Undeterred by their display of strength, he highlighted the numerical advantage of their group, emphasizing their intent to overpower and eliminate Theo and Yona. The man instructed 4 of their group to engage with Theo and Yona, while the others were tasked with confronting those at the heavenly birth level, with orders to swiftly eliminate them all. Jude, filled with fear, acknowledged the daunting odds they faced against the 6 adversaries. Despite recognizing Yona and Theo's skill, he felt overwhelmed by the situation, contemplating the desire to flee. However, conflicted by his fear and the gravity of the situation, he found himself torn between the urge to escape and the need to face the impending danger. Theo, utilizing his Dharma tools, launched an attack against the enemy, prompting them to put up a barrier for defense which shattered upon impact. Subsequently, Theo wielded his sword against the man, aiming to defeat him. However, another man intervened, defending against Theo's Dharma tools. Impressed by Theo's prowess, the man acknowledged his opponent's increased threat level and proposed a coordinated attack from both sides. Theo regretted not having more time to deal a decisive blow to his adversary. As Max defended against the attack, he reflected on his role as a father, feeling inadequate in his efforts to protect his daughter. Overwhelmed by the intensity of the battle, he realized that Theo and Yona were putting in twice the effort compared to his own struggles, leaving him puzzled by the situation. Yona, watching her father in battle, felt a deep sense of love and admiration towards him, considering him her pillar of strength. However, the inability to intervene or assist him in his time of need left her feeling powerless and filled with self-reproach, struggling with feelings of self-doubt and frustration. A sword struck Yona's father, prompting a horrified reaction from Yona as she cried out for her father. A powerful aura of killing intent emanated from Yona, overpowering and incapacitating their enemies. Another man, taken aback by the unfolding events, found his arms severed by the intense aura. Max, in disbelief, realized that he had unknowingly concealed Yona's true nature. Amidst the chaos, a man exclaimed in astonishment, recognizing Yona as a celestial being, a revelation that left everyone in awe of her newfound abilities. Theo, contemplating the revelation about Yona being a celestial being, connected the dots regarding her exceptional strength. He understood that her unique heritage, stemming from a mix of sacred beast and human blood, contributed to her extraordinary abilities. Recognizing the inherent differences in her Naiden, Theo acknowledged that while this hybrid lineage provided advantages for alchemists, it also explained Yona's remarkable prowess and capabilities in combat. There are rumors circulating among alchemists about some exhausting their Naiden or resorting to exchanging their blood for potent spiritual power. Theo speculated that Mac's decision to live quietly in the cultivation area was likely influenced by the need to safeguard Yona's unique heritage and powers from such practices. As the aura targeted and defeated the enemies one by one, the remaining foe realized the gravity of the situation and urged their group to flee, emphasizing the need to inform the senior master. Jude, concerned for Yona's well-being, inquired about her condition after the intense battle. Meanwhile, Theo, observing Max, noted that despite the sword piercing his chest cleanly, his vital organs remained unharmed. He reassured himself that, with proper treatment, Max would make a full recovery from the ordeal. Theo expressed concern about the heightened risk to Yona now that her true identity as a celestial being had been revealed, anticipating increased pursuit from adversaries. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, he emphasized the need to depart immediately. Jude concurred with Theo's assessment, acknowledging the looming danger and echoing the urgency to swiftly leave the forest of fine beauty to ensure their safety. Senior acknowledged the revelation about Yona being a celestial being, prompting a man to confirm the assertion. The man described Yona's transformation, noting her eyes turning white and the emergence of a peculiar pattern in her protruding veins. Convinced by these extraordinary manifestations, he affirmed that Yona was indeed a celestial being, a presence only spoken of in hearsay until now. The senior swiftly flew towards Yona's location, determined not to lose sight of the celestial being. He acknowledged the destination they were heading towards and focused on apprehending Yona, understanding the significance of capturing such a rare entity. Upon reaching the group, the senior demanded Yona, referring to her as the celestial being. Jude, filled with fear, recognized the ominous presence of the breath of the sun alchemist, causing further distress and apprehension. Yona reached out to Jude, expressing concern about the escalating situation. Jude tried to reassure her with a smile, claiming that everything was fine and advising her not to worry. However, the moment was abruptly interrupted as the senior swiftly struck Jude on the forehead, killing him. The senior, adamant about obtaining Yona, threatened to resort to theft if she was not willingly handed over. As Yona attempted to reach Jude, the senior used his aura to immobilize her, halting her movement. In the midst of the chaos, Max urged the group to intervene and prevent the breath of the sun alchemist from succeeding in his intentions. Overwhelmed by the situation, Max expressed his deep concern for his beloved daughter, Yona, emphasizing the urgency of stopping the alchemist's actions. In a moment of desperation, Max held a pill in his hand, determined to save his daughter at any cost, even if it meant risking his latent power or shattering his Naiden. With unwavering resolve to rescue Yona, he consumed the pill, leading to a surge of immense power as his energy burst forth. Theo was entrusted with looking after Yona as Max braced himself for the unfolding events. Empowered by the pill, Max's newfound strength surged through him, setting the stage for a confrontation with the senior, who unleashed the formidable true Samadhi fire skill. The senior, disdainful of Max's attempt to thwart him, scoffed at the notion of a heavenly birth trying to impede his actions, deeming it impossible even under fortunate circumstances. With a dismissive tone, he labeled his attack as silly things. Launching his assault, the senior targeted Max, shattering the shield that stood between them in a show of his formidable power and determination to achieve his objective. In a desperate attempt to rescue Yona from the senior's grasp, Yona's father utilized a tree vine staff. However, faced with the intensity of the true Samadhi fire, he realized that extinguishing the flames was beyond his capabilities. Regrettably, Max made the difficult decision to discard the staff in order to focus on aiding Yona's escape. Tragically, before Theo could intervene, a sword pierced Max's head, cutting short his valiant effort to protect his daughter. Witnessing this devastating turn of events, Yona was consumed by rage at the loss of her father. As night symbolizes the domain of fiends, dawn heralds the presence of sacred beasts. In a moment of heightened awareness, Yona's perception transcended, attaining absolute spiritual eyes, granting her an unparalleled vision and insight. Meanwhile, the senior sensed a shift in the energy around him, recognizing the emergence of a potent and dangerous force. In the senior's mind, he compared the current situation to Kong, expressing expectations for a higher standard of performance. Feeling weakened, Yona was approached by Theo, who inquired about her well-being. Sensing that Yona had taken some action against the senior, Theo urged a quick departure from the scene to ensure their safety and evade any further complications. 3 days later, at Ju Mansion in District Li, Theo reflected on his decision to visit, noting that no one had been there for the past 2 years. Feeling relieved by the deserted state of the mansion, he prioritized checking on Yona's condition upon arrival. However, Theo's relief was short-lived as he discovered that Yona's spiritual power was unruly and running wild, indicating a potential challenge that needed immediate attention and resolution. Theo prioritized the steps he needed to take to address Yona's erratic spiritual power. His first task was to create a potion aimed at calming and stabilizing her spiritual energy. Following that, he planned to craft a Dan pill to aid in Yona's recovery and restoration. By carefully planning out these steps, Theo aimed to help Yona regain control over her abilities and ensure her well-being. Observing Theo engrossed in his work, Juno walked away, reflecting on his intention to greet Theo after a period of absence, but realizing Theo was preoccupied. Upon Theo's acknowledgement of Juno's presence, Juno expressed surprise at Theo's extended absence, questioning the duration of his departure. Curious about the events in the Ju family during Theo's absence, Theo inquired if anything significant had occurred in the family's domain. Juno shared the news with Theo, revealing that a significant event had transpired. The first young master had successfully passed the civil state exam and achieved the prestigious status of a palace graduate. This achievement was celebrated with a grand banquet that resonated throughout District Li, expressing regret that Theo had missed the occasion. In addition to the celebratory news, Juno mentioned that Juliana was not in the best of health, indicating a concern about her well-being. Juno disclosed that Juliana had received a marriage proposal from a prominent individual. Despite reaching a suitable age for marriage, Juliana was hesitant and expressed her lack of interest in getting married at the moment. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Juno acknowledged that the timing was not ideal for such matters and made it a priority to inform Juliana about Theo's return. While tending to Yona, Theo reflected on the lingering aftereffects in her body. He understood the toll it took on her, considering the intense battles she had faced, including defeating 2 Law of Spirit energy alchemists and confronting a Breath of the Sun alchemist. These challenging encounters had left a mark on Yona, manifesting as residual effects that required attention and care to ensure her recovery and well-being. As Juliana arrived, Theo greeted her and inquired about her well-being. Juliana expressed a sense of ambiguity in her response, stating that she felt both well and unwell simultaneously. Despite the family's elevated status due to recent developments, she perceived a sense of stagnation, feeling that everything remained unchanged from before. Theo mentioned Juliana's refusal of all marriage proposals and inquired about the reason behind her decision. Juliana playfully dismissed the question as mischievous, indicating that, as a single lady, she couldn't provide an answer to such a query. Her response hinted at a desire for privacy. Theo requested to stay for a while, prompting Juliana to answer that's the reason why the place had been left empty until now. Theo disclosed that he was currently being pursued by alchemists and revealed that an injured senior sister Yona was also present with him. Concerned, Juliana inquired about Yona's condition, expressing readiness to assist. Theo emphasized that alchemists were scouring the entire Yangzhou in search of them. Juliana reassured Theo that alchemists wouldn't typically search mortals' mansions, providing a temporary refuge. Her immediate concern, however, was focused on Yona's well-being, showing compassion and consideration for their safety. Theo opened up about Yona's recent losses, highlighting the profound emotional impact of losing her father and someone who cherished her deeply. He noted that while Yona's physical wounds were severe, her emotional wounds ran just as deep, emphasizing the extent of her suffering. Juliana expressed admiration for Yona, acknowledging her inner beauty and resilience. Offering support and understanding, Juliana affirmed that if Yona was Theo's senior, she was welcome to stay for as long as needed. Grateful for Juliana's compassion, Theo expressed his thanks for the gesture of kindness. Theo grappled with the realization that he couldn't linger in Juliana's residence for an extended period. Concerned about the ongoing pursuit by the Dauntless sect and the potential risk of entangling the Ju family in the situation, he recognized the necessity of swiftly attending to Yona's needs and departing once she regained strength. Understanding the urgency of the circumstances, Theo focused on expediting Yona's recovery to ensure her well-being before making their departure to avoid any further complications for both Yona and the Ju family. After a few days, Yona regained consciousness, prompting Theo to feel uncertain about what to discuss in the moment. Juliana warmly greeted Yona, remarking on her awakening after 3 days and noting the pleasant weather outside. Juliana shared a light-hearted anecdote about a servant's son accidentally breaking a jar during this fine weather, offering a casual topic of conversation in the tranquil atmosphere. Juliana shared with Yona about her younger brother, mentioning the challenges of managing his behavior. She expressed frustration over his recent boastful plans to start a business with his unruly friends and pondered when he would mature and make a name for himself like his brother. Transitioning to a lighter topic, Juliana inquired about Yona's enjoyment of snacks and mentioned the arrival of local snacks from other countries the previous day. Concluding her visit, Juliana suggested pausing for the day and promised to return the following day. In the days that followed, Juliana visited Yona daily, engaging in lengthy monologues about her daily life, filling the room with seemingly meaningless chatter. This routine continued for 8 days until a breakthrough occurred on the 8th day when Yona nodded in response to one of Juliana's stories. Following this breakthrough, Yona's recovery became evident as she gradually began to converse and engage more actively. One day, Yona initiated a conversation with Theo, remarking on the pleasantness of the wind. In agreement, Theo responded, acknowledging the agreeable weather, marking a positive shift in Yona's recovery and her reconnection with those around her. After 4 more days had passed, Theo observed that while Yona's expression still carried a shadow of darkness, he found relief in noticing her gradual return to her former self. With Yona showing significant signs of recovery, Theo recognized that they needed to prepare to depart soon from Juliana's residence. Before their departure, Theo checked on the physical condition of the Jew family members, noting that they lacked exceptional physical attributes. Observing that neither the Jew family nor Juliana possessed remarkable physique, Theo expressed a sense of regret that he couldn't offer them guidance in Qigong or provide them with Dan pills to enhance their well-being. Juliana expressed her contentment with her current life, stating that even if she had the opportunity to become an alchemist, she would choose to remain as she was. Her love for her family and home held more significance to her than pursuing personal advancement or enhancing her level as an alchemist. Theo encouraged Juliana to seek out her own path in life, highlighting the importance of finding one's true calling and purpose. In a heartfelt conversation, Theo confirmed her intuition, acknowledging that he was indeed considering leaving for good. Juliana reflected on the possibility that she should have taken action years ago to address the situation, expressing regret that she couldn't prevent Theo's departure despite knowing it was inevitable. Theo reciprocated the sentiment, acknowledging the sense of loss in parting ways. Juliana, finding solace in Theo's honesty, expressed relief at the mutual understanding of the circumstances, underscoring the bittersweet nature of their farewell. In a practical exchange, Theo inquired about the purpose of the storage area, suspecting it to belong to Juliana. Juliana explained that alchemists possess mysterious pockets that eliminate the need for conventional storage methods like the one in question. Agreeing with her assessment, Theo confirmed the unique abilities of alchemists in storing items. Suggesting a solution, Juliana proposed transferring all the clothes from the storage into Theo's pocket. Juliana shared her perception of immortals as beings who either remain still in the mountains or soar through the sky, contrasting it with Theo's adventurous and perilous endeavors that often resulted in his clothing getting damaged. Amused by her observation, Theo chuckled in response. Acknowledging the wear and tear on his clothes from his daring exploits, Theo proceeded to place the garments into his pouch. Theo mentioned that he had included a few recovery pills in the pouch, explaining that taking one would slightly extend lifespan and prevent illnesses. However, he clarified that taking more than one wouldn't have any additional benefits. He suggested Juliana take one and give 2 to her brother and Juno, with the remainder for her discretion. Feeling burdened by the valuable recovery pills, Juliana expressed her concerns. Theo reassured her, explaining that the pills had no effect on alchemists, making Juliana the ideal recipient. Juliana bid Theo farewell, acknowledging his departure with a simple yet heartfelt sentiment. Take care of yourself. Moved by Theo's imminent departure, Juno, tearing up, expressed his emotions, questioning whether Theo was truly leaving and if he was headed to a distant land. Theo teased Juno about his earlier enthusiastic reaction to receiving treasures, reminding him of his joy at that moment. Juno responded playfully, defending his reaction and expressing his emotions at Theo's departure. Understanding Juno's sadness, Theo decided to bring out a special item. Juno, intrigued, inquired about the type of liquor it was. Theo explained that it was the alchemist's sweet liquor, made from sacred herbs, known for providing energy without any adverse health effects. Excited about the precious liquor, Juno suggested they enjoy a drink together before Theo's departure. Enthusiastically, Juno proposed they indulge in the sweet liquor and live carefreely as if they were drunk for the day. Theo agreed to Juno's proposal, embracing the idea of sharing a moment of camaraderie and celebration before parting ways. As Yona urged Theo to depart, Theo agreed, indicating that they should leave promptly. Yona inquired if there were any lingering matters to attend to which Theo responded negatively. Theo reflected on the conclusion of his ties with Districtly, pondering why he harbored some feelings of regret despite everything being settled. Expressing his emotions, Theo admitted to feeling a sense of regret, acknowledging the complexity of his emotions as he prepared to bid farewell to Districtly. Theo contemplated the necessity for both Yona and himself to vanish from Yangzhou. Recognizing the need to leave their current location, he made the decision to head towards Daewon Nation, setting the course for their next destination. Upon arriving at Daewon Nation in the Yang province's southern part, Yona inquired if they had indeed reached their destination. Theo, not entirely certain, suggested they head towards a populated area to interact with the locals first. Understanding the importance of familiarizing themselves with the people of Daewon Nation, Theo proposed observing and engaging with the locals to gain insight into the community. Theo observed the distinct setup in Daewon Nation, noting that the large gate was designated for alchemists, while the smaller gate was for ordinary individuals. Reflecting on this unique scene, Theo remarked on the novelty of such segregation, contrasting it with his experiences in Jianyang Nation. Considering Yona's ongoing recovery, Theo realized that he couldn't assume the role of an ordinary person and utilize advanced techniques to bypass the system. As Theo and Yona encountered the gatekeeper, Theo inquired about the situation, seeking clarification on the unexpected halt. The gatekeeper explained that if they intended to pass through on a return trip, they needed to pay a toll fee of 10 low-class spirit stones. However, upon noticing Yona's beauty, the gatekeeper's demeanor shifted slightly. After a brief pause, he required 20 spirit stones to enter the gate. Theo calculated that a low-class Dharma tool typically costs 40 low-class spirit stones, making the toll fee seem quite costly. Despite the expensive toll, he acknowledged that he had an adequate supply of spirit stones, alleviating concerns about the toll's affordability. Recognizing the necessity of paying the toll to proceed, Theo acknowledged the expense but accepted it as part of their journey. After paying the toll fee and receiving a warning from the gatekeeper about the consequences of losing the tokens, Theo assured him that he understood the gravity of the situation. With the formalities settled, Theo and Yona proceeded to enter through the gate. Upon crossing the threshold into Daewon Nation, Yona couldn't contain her excitement and exclaimed, "This is Daewon Nation!" Her enthusiasm marked the beginning of their exploration and immersion into the new environment.
Go, go, go.